And this is new. I mean, I just want to point out, this is a new phenomenon on soaps, because in the 90s, when there were plenty of women who were involved with younger men, but it was told in a way that really respected the character's dignity. I'm thinking of Donna Love on Another World, Vanessa on Guiding Light. Oh God, there was one that I just forgot about.
Even on As the World Turns, Lila and Casey was an older woman, younger man story, and on As the World Turns, Susan and Larry.
Yeah. Oh, and Dorian on One Life to Live with Joey Buchanan. I mean, that was very much told from a respectful point of view.
Yeah. I mean, again, I love, Henry and Barbara for the laughs, and I love Jackie and Owen because they're fantastic together and hot, and it gives Leslie and Down's story. But they're both, these are all, and then there's Ryan and Erica on All My Children as well. It's like, you just want them to focus in and tell the stories with a little more dignity.
And I mean, this is actually the one thing I think All My Children is getting right, is actually telling the story so far with Erica and Ryan with respect to both characters. I seriously doubt that's going to last. But so far, I think, okay, we got to do it. No, I never thought Roger Newcomb. See, I'm so glad now you can all see the Roger Newcomb face that I get when he disagrees.
No, I actually do like that story. I'm just thinking, if it's as long as Who Killed Stewart, then we might actually get somewhere in it in like 10 years. Because, yeah.
Well, speaking of Dorian, I also wanted to talk about a story that I'm enjoying very much, which is the mayor race on One Life to Live. And the way this has involved now so many characters, including the long fight between Vicky and Dorian, and One Life to Live is now the only soap that is telling a story about 4 gay characters. And what I love is that they're not just gay characters for the sake of being gay. They're very, very, very diverse gay people. And this is very much mirrors what we see in reality. Gay people are not all just like, people like, on other shows that are doing a good job portraying gays and lesbians, but they seem to be sometimes very similar. And One Life to Live, you see the differences. You see how Nicholas Rodriguez's character is very like gung-ho activist, yeah. And, Oliver Fish just wants to sit back and, drink a beer and fight criminals. And he's not really interested in being
not
an
at the
activist.
same time, because that would be...
But not at the same time. But, you really see differences in real life in that community, too. So I'm just amazed to actually see this being portrayed like that.
Yeah.
I'm really happy with One Life to Live story. I know when the news about Dorian running for mayor and pretending to be gay with her campaign manager came out, a lot of people were worried about it. But I think they're going to tell it in a respectful way. I mean, we have people that... real gay people involved in the writing of the story, and real gay people starring in the story. So I think there's a comedic aspect, because anytime Tuck Watkins and Robin Strasser are together, and any of these, there's going to be comedy, but I think they're going to be very respectful. And One Life to Live is doing a good job, in my opinion.
I mean, I think that there obviously needs to be a little bit of vigilance, because it has the potential to go completely off the rails. I still remember David Vickers, the Buddhist, and that still smarts. And
are you a Buddhist?
I'm not Buddhist. I was raised Hindu, but
okay.
But still, you kind of watch those kinds of portrayals on TV, and you're like, "Ow!
I know.
No, stop, please."
Well, there's so few portrayals of certain things on TV,
right.
like when American, when As the World Turns. How many other rocky female characters were there on TV?
Exactly.
So then you're really sensitive to it, and then when they make a joke of it, or they aren't really sensitive to it, then it's more insulting, and people say, "Oh, it's just a soap opera storyline," but it's like the only story on TV.
Exactly. So that's why, I know a lot of people are wary about the Dorian's big gay wedding story, and I don't blame anyone for being a little cautious, but I think the fact that it's kind of educating through laughter, which I'm a huge proponent of. Anytime you can reach out to people by making them laugh, I mean, oftentimes that really gets them, more engaged than when you're just lecturing them about an issue. And if you can, reach people through laughter, and then also be telling, simultaneously be telling the story of the triangle of Kyle, Nick, and Fish, while this is going on, then you've got incentive to tune in for that as well. So I think it also has a huge potential for success. So
I like it.
Yeah.
Well done so far. Well done.
Let's talk about more good news. Days of Our Lives ratings.
Yeah. Good for them.
From last year to this year, they've gained over 500,000 viewers, and
is there any other show doing this?
No, not even close. But in the world of 3 million viewers is very good in soaps. Gaining 500,000 viewers is a huge, significant chunk of viewers.
Yeah.
And the show's up for renewal again in 2010. So this is a very good thing for Days of Our Lives. And it was also the first full week of Crystal Chappelle, baby reveal to EJ, and a lot of good stuff. And it was good.
What do you think of Crystal Chappelle's return so far?
So far, I'm intrigued, and I like the direction it's going, and I'm so glad that Days of Our Lives is making these strides. It's really encouraging to see a show, that people are tuning into. I know a lot of people were scared, when there was the en masse, veteran departure, and thinking that, the show's going to tank now. And the fact that, it has succeeded, is a wonderful thing, for it. And I know a lot of people are often like, if my favorites aren't on the show, then I hope it gets canceled. And that's really a sentiment that we never actually want to put out there. Yes, it's terrible when your favorites leave or when a storyline doesn't go your way, but you should never, ever root for a show to get canceled.
Well, in this past year, we've seen actually the opposite. So many people said that they wouldn't watch if Deidre Hall and Drake Hogestyn weren't on, or Steve and Kayla left, and of course it's turned out to be. They've gained 1 million viewers regardless.
Exactly. So something worked for the show, and it was able to recover from losing, all those bets. And people are tuning in, and I don't know if they're tuning in because EJ learned about the baby, or because Crystal Chappelle showed up. Hi, Otalia fans, or
it's built steadily.
Or there's
this is
Chad
the good
and
thing.
Mia and Will fans. I mean, who knows?
But I feel good about this because it's not just like a spike 1 week in the ratings. This has been a slow progress over the past year.
I would love to know exactly what it is too. What storylines are people keying into, and exactly, is it like a huge Maggie contingent? Is it like,
Yes, I think it is Suzanne Rogers' fan base stepping up.
It's Suzanne Rogers. That's why everyone's tuning in. It would be great to kind of get a demographic breakdown of what people are responding to on Days, because maybe that's something that we could apply to other shows and be like, what is it that Days did?
I'll tell you what I think. I think it shows that regardless of who's on the canvas, if you tell good stories, even if they're old-fashioned stories, because the Baby Switch story is really old-fashioned, but it's been told so slowly, so progressively, beat by beat by beat, that every time someone's about to find out, you're in suspense. And they're building tension based on characters, not on plot, not on plane crashes, not on tornadoes. They're building it based on character choices.
Right.
And I happen to think that's what leads to an increase of viewers. But to get back to Carly, I'm really enjoying Crystal Chappelle's return. Some people are complaining, she's not interacting with the cast, she's not part of the town. But hello, this is a soap. It's, they're building this slowly. I love that Carly was very much a strong woman in Salem, and she would take charge of situations. I mean, I remember a storyline when Isabella was pregnant, and Carly had to carry her. I forgot why, but Carly had to carry her through the snow and into a cabin and break down the door in order to get her to safety. That was the tough cookie Carly always was. And I feel like that's the Carly we're seeing now as she saves Rafe's life and she gets him on the boat and she's saving him, and she's willing to forego her own legal safety to save this person. That's the Carly I remember. So I feel like they are writing to the integrity of the character.
And integrating her with everyone else will come.
Right.
Don't doubt that. It'll come. She'll get involved with everyone you expect her to get involved with. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, like you said, you're building anticipation. Exactly. When is she going to see Bo? When is she going to meet Hope for the first time?
Right.
Exactly.
Vivian's coming back at some point. When is that going to happen?
Right.
So there's so many things to look forward to while you're enjoying Crystal Chappelle. And Crystal Chappelle is great. She could be sitting on a plane for 3 months and I would watch it.
Keep the drinks coming.
And I think
Keep the drinks
did.
coming. Yeah.
So let's talk about everybody's favorite subject, Eric Braden. So we talked a little in our previous show about a lot of his exclusive interviews. He's given a few more exclusive interviews since those exclusive interviews, and I think he's doing more exclusive interviews this week.
I think he's going to be addressing Congress soon, actually.
But he talked to Entertainment Weekly, and apparently this was the end of the line. He's out. It's over. He's not coming back, at least for now. I still think it's a big blow and very sad.
A couple weeks ago when I was on the podcast, I said, I echoed that sentiment, and I said that, he's very much, because of the way the Weiner canvas is built right now, very much the center of it. He's very much the heart of it, because they've connected almost every story to Victor, and in every important story. I mean, I don't think he's really involved in the Deacon Taroni painting story, but but almost every story, and so how do you extricate that, that character and keep going? And it's going to be a challenge for them to reshape the canvas, and figure out, who's going to kind of take that spot, and like I said, they have to perform their own transplant.
But do you have any opinions about what happened and how the actor handled it and how this has all gone down?